Hey guys, and welcome to episode 7 of Project Amberlight, my little filmmaking vlog about making a short film. So, what's happened this week? Well, I should have mentioned last week actually, because we actually achieved this last week. We managed to book a camera assistant. Or actually, we've got 2 people to do it. So one is going to do the first 2 days of the shoot, and then the other person is going to do the following 3 days of the shoot, which is the night shoot part of it. And the good thing is that I know both of them, and so does the cameraman. And so that means that they just crack on with it. They know what they need to do. Whew! One thing done. Crew done. Obviously, just the small matter of the rest of the crew to get. The thing that's been challenging this week, as always, it's in the Indiegogo thing. We're just coming up for the halfway mark, and the whole campaign is kind of stalled, and I'm I'm at a bit of a loss as to know what to do with it. So we got up to 43%, and that was pretty good. We sort of chugged along, and so some nice generous donations and small ones that came in and just kept us moving, which is great. And we got to 43%. Then this week it's just completely slowed down, and I again just sort of took my hands off the steering wheel a bit for a couple of days, and I was a bit kind of like I don't know what to do. And the producer and I had a talk, and I thought it's actually quite good that I sort of slowed down a bit, because it's actually quite intense. It's like a full-time job. And on top of that, we've got to keep the actual production side of things moving, or pre-production, should I say, like getting all that sort of stuff done. So I sort of slowed down just a little bit for a few days. I had the chat with the producer, Zoe, and then I decided to, just keep going, keep hammering at it. And then later in the week, we said to each other, look, it was her idea. She said, why don't we set an intention? So say to ourselves, right, we want to get to this amount by this point. And when we looked at it, we said 50% by next Wednesday. And when we looked at it, that was a reasonable sort of goal to have, 50%. So it's actually £800. That's doable, So as soon as it was broken down like that, I was like, so I only have to get that much money. I don't have to get the whole thing. You know what I mean? I'm not thinking about the whole thing. So that's what we're plugging away at. And that's my intention. So that's like really made things easier. So we'll see if we can just get it unstuck and get flow back into it again, and see where we end up next week. Because the fallout is, it's made me sort of question what's going to happen if we don't get the amount that we intended on, because obviously we're shooting based on a particular budget. So if we're not going to make that, how are we going to make this work? So I sort of had to sit down with the budget and just like strip everything back and say, all right, we're at about 7.5 now. What if we only got, say, 10? So I did a 10 grand budget. Did not make me happy at all. And I'll tell you why, is because which way I worked it, the only way to get it down to 10, after you leave, there's certain costs that cannot be changed. Like, we're going to have to pay for a location. We're going to have to, there's certain things that you have to pay for. The thing that I had to strip out was paying people, and that did not sit right with me at all. The whole thing for me in putting this budget together in the first place was I wanted to make sure I paid people. I don't want to be an employer who doesn't pay people. That's not my thing. Anyways, it's not my thing. So that kind of made me feel really down. But then I said to myself, do you know what? Well, we're not going to settle for 10. We're going to get more than 10. That's just how we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to get 17. That's our budget. We want 16 on Indiegogo, and we're getting £1 grand from private finance. That's just how we're going to do it. So yeah, so that's basically it. So that's where we're at. So it's kind of positive in a way, in the sense that I feel like we just have to say to ourselves, we are going to make 17 grand work. Somehow it's going to happen. Somehow we're going to get there. But God, It's crazy, isn't it? This whole filmmaking thing, like the stress of just getting there. I can see now where some people just go, do you know what? Let's get so and so's camera. Let's get so and so to do sound. Let's get blah 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 blah. As soon as you do something that's bigger than the resources that you immediately have to hand, it suddenly gets very interesting. Let's say, and. But it's good because it broadens you out. It broadens. It's good in that sense. But it is a challenge. So I always talk about challenges. It's always challenges. I'm trying to put the positive spin on it. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to say, oh, it was hard, because I chose to do this. I know that. So I want to say a challenge because a challenge can be overcome. If I just whinge about how hard it is, that's not going to get us anywhere. So the next thing for us to do in terms of pre-production is to try and find a little home for Charlie, because if you're not familiar with the story, basically Amber, our protagonist, who is obsessed with Charlie Love, who is a member of a boy band, she breaks into his house, and so we need to give him a house that is befitting his status as an internationally known member of a hugely successful boy band. So we can't just put him in one of our flats. Do you know what I mean? That's not going to work. Even if you dress my flat up nicely, it is not going to look like a Harry Styles type person lives here. So that is going to be a challenge, to find somewhere that we can afford that is befitting his status. The other thing as well is that I'm trying to save us some money by finding a place that has a spare room that we can dress as Amber's bedroom. So that means that we can do more things in one location. Do you know what I mean? Like, that can be her room and the rest of the house can be Charlie's. It means we don't have to keep moving the company to different locations. We can do it in a location we're familiar with. So that's going to be my little coup. So over the next week, we're going to see if we hit our target. We're going to, I feel like we have to start moving on some stuff now, because we're approaching a month. We're just over a month out from when we're shooting. We're shooting on the 20th of April. So I feel like we have to sort of start getting our hustle on in terms of putting these things in place, so that we're not overwhelmed when it comes to it, when we're a week before shooting. And I want to make sure that we've got the space to be able to think about the creative side of things, because it's all very well us putting everything in place sort of strategically, operationally, to make sure this thing happens. But what if we get to the first day of shooting and the cameraman goes to me, all right, let's see your shot list. Oh. So that's the plan. All right, that's all from Project Amberlight this week. That's all just like a fucking nightmare. It's not a nightmare, but it could well become one. Anyways, I hope you're enjoying these insights, and if there's anything you want me to talk about, or any comments or anything like that, advice you want to give me, then comment below. All right, thanks for watching.